Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS, also known as ROSA. So this lecture will contain all these topics. What is Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS? Accessing Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS, ROSA architecture and feature comparison. So what is Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS? Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS is a managed service that lets you build, scale and deploy containerized applications using the Red Hat OpenShift Enterprise Kubernetes platform on AWS. ROSA is supported and operated by both AWS and Red Hat. It includes a 24-hour support from Red Hat Site Reliability Engineers SRE for cluster management and guarantees 99.95% uptime with a service level agreement SLA. Red Hat SRE support that includes cluster installation, cluster maintenance and cluster upgrades. It offers integrations with AWS services including compute, database, analytics, machine learning, networking and mobile services. You can run and scale the Kubernetes control plane across multiple AWS availability zones, which ensures high availability. It lets you operate clusters using OpenShift APIs and developer productivity tools, including Service Mesh, code-ready workspaces, and serverless. Accessing Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. So you can use the Red Hat Hybrid Cloud Console, and this provides a web interface to create, update, and manage ROSA clusters, install cluster add-ons, create and deploy applications to a ROSA cluster. Then you can use the ROSA CLI, so the binary name will be ROSA, and this provides commands to create, update, and manage the ROSA clusters. Then we have OpenShift CLI also, and the binary name is OC, and this provides the commands to create applications and manage OpenShift container platform projects. Then we have Knative CLI, and the binary name is KN, and this provides command to interact with OpenShift serverless components such as Knative serving and eventing. Then we have a pipeline CLI, and the binary name is TKN, and this provides command to interact with OpenShift pipelines using the terminal. Then we have another CLI called as OPM CLI, and this provides command that help operator developers and cluster administrators create and maintain OpenShift operator catalogs from the terminal. And then we have operator SDK CLI also, and this provides command that an operator developer can use to build, test and deploy an OpenShift operator. Okay, this one is ROSA architecture. I'll explain how the architecture of Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS looks like. So we have, so this service offers two main cluster topologies. First one is a hosted control plane, abbreviated as HCP, and there's another called as classic. So there are two topologies. In the hosted control plane, the control plane is hosted within Red Hat's AWS account and is managed by Red Hat. So Red Hat has purchased AWS account and they maintain, but they use AWS service or the AWS account itself. The worker nodes, however, are deployed in the customer's AWS account. So you have the worker nodes which will be belonging to your AWS account, and the control plane will be belonging to Red Hat, which is also under AWS account. So there is a slight segregation. Next we have a classic topology, and in the classic setup, both the control plane and the worker nodes are deployed within the customer's AWS account. So this is simpler and straightforward, that everything belongs to customer's AWS account. So but there are some benefits for hosted control plane. ROSA with HCP provides a more efficient control plane architecture. This helps to reduce the AWS infrastructure fees and allows for faster cluster creation times. So there are two benefits: you pay less and cluster creation is faster because control plane belongs to Red Hat. Then the choice of architecture, both ROSA with hosted control plane and the ROSA Classic can be enabled in the AWS ROSA console. So within AWS, you can access Red Hat OpenShift Service through its own managed service. So you can directly access from there. You can choose which architecture to use when you provision ROSA clusters with the ROSA CLI. So HCP limitations. ROSA with hosted control plane does not offer FedRAMP High and HIPAA qualified compliance certifications. Also, FIPS endpoints are not offered. So if you need these three compliance, then you have to go with Classic. So I'll just compare the features of ROSA with HCP and the ROSA Classic. So first is cluster infrastructure hosting. So cluster plane components such as etcd, API server, OAuth are hosted in a Red Hat own AWS account as I talked about, and Classic control plane components such as etcd, API server and OAuth are hosted in customer owned AWS account. Next, Amazon VPC. Worker nodes communicate with the control plane over AWS private link. So we have to use this private link service because both are in different VPCs. Worker nodes and control plane nodes are deployed in the same customer VPC, so we don't need any private link. Next, AWS identity and access management. With HCP, it uses the AWS managed policies, and ROSA Classic, it uses customer managed policies that are defined by the service. Then multi-zone deployment. The control plane is deployed across multiple availability zones, and for ROSA Classic, the control plane can be deployed within a single AZ or across multiple AZs. Here only multiple AZs, here one or multiple. Infrastructure nodes. So it does not use dedicated infrastructure nodes. Platform components are deployed to worker nodes. For ROSA Classic, it uses 2 single AZ or 3 multi-AZ dedicated nodes to host platform components. This one is control plane specific. And OpenShift capabilities. So these are the capabilities for hosted control plane. Platform monitoring, image registry and the ingress controller are deployed in the worker nodes. For the ROSA Classic, platform monitoring, image registry and the ingress controller are deployed in the dedicated infrastructure nodes. Cluster upgrades. The control plane and each machine pool can be upgraded separately. For the Classic, the entire cluster must be upgraded at the same time. A minimum Amazon EC2 footprint. So with HCP, you need 2 Amazon EC2 instances. Minimum 2 are needed to create a cluster. For the ROSA Classic, you need 7 single AZ or 9 multi-AZ Amazon EC2 instances are required to create a cluster. And that's all. Thanks for watching.